George Chakiris. Please welcome him to the Old Globe Theater. Have a seat.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Oh, here we are.
Here we are. So, showing West Side Story outdoors is fabulous, and I think the opening prologue is going to be amazing out here.
Yeah.
So I want to start by asking you, what do you remember about shooting the prologue and dancing on the real streets of New York City?
Well, the first thing comes up, is this on?
Yeah.
Okay. We were all staying at the Warwick Hotel. The first thing I remember is the bus picking us up all at the Warwick Hotel to go to this location, which was 90th and Amsterdam. You know, it's funny, when you're working and you're doing your job, you don't stop to think of, hey, this is a real location and so on. You're just there to do what you're supposed to do. But the fact that they chose to do this at a real location as opposed to inside a movie studio, I think really starts the movie with a real feeling that you are on the streets, because you are. Sorry, that's a really corny. But I think this prologue is so beautifully conceived by Jerome Robbins and Robert Wise, who both co-directed the film, and there was talk in the beginning to perhaps do the prologue in a studio, and the fact that they ended up doing it on the streets, I think was an incredible decision, and because the prologue itself is I think a very beautiful piece. Yeah, it was great.
And talk about, but shooting on the streets, you said that you guys actually involved some local gang members to help out.
Yeah. You know what they did? Because gang members in the neighborhood, and what they did, and it was not just to be smart, but they did a smart thing, and they involved these members of gangs to keep people away from where we were actually shooting. So it kept them friendly, as it were, and at the same time made work a little more organized. Yeah.
Now, initially, you played Riff on stage.
Yeah.
So talk about changing roles and coming on as Bernardo for the film.
Yeah. Well, I did Riff for a year and a half at Her Majesty's Theatre in London, and I loved playing Riff. I was so lucky to be in it at all anyway, thanks to Jerry Robbins. Doing it every night for a year and a half, and you hear everything that's going on stage, and the speakers in the hallways and in the dressing rooms, so you're hearing the show every night for a year and a half, and without realizing it, you're learning something. So we all became so familiar with all of the roles that we all felt we could play anything, just because we were familiar with it. So changing and happily changing from Riff to Bernardo was just, how lucky was I, So there wasn't a transition or anything like that. It was just, I sort of moved into this without thinking that there was a transition to be made. Just, you just do the work that you're there to do. And I loved playing Bernardo as well. Had a great time.
And in case anybody doesn't remember, you won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar that year for playing Bernardo in West Side Story. So what was that experience like? Because you were quite young when you won that award.
Yeah, well, hey, Rita Moreno and I, we're good friends, starting back then. How about her, all right? Yes, she's so amazing in this film. We attended the Academy Award ceremony together, and the limousine came to pick me up first. Then we went to Rita, and I went up the stairs to an apartment. As we were coming down the stairs to get in the car again, she said, "I'm practicing my loser's face." So anyway, so we were there. At that time, they were done at the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium, and the supporting actor category came up first, and I got lucky. And then Rita was thinking, oh my God, all these awards are going to West Side Story, and when my category comes up, I'll be the first one to not get an Oscar, you know. But anyway, she, of course, got the Oscar that she so richly deserved. So it was a fantastic night. I mean, it was, we went together, we were lucky together, we had a great time together, it was a beautiful evening. I mean, you know, who could ask for anything more? It was great.
Well, both of you seemed a bit overwhelmed because your acceptance speeches were very. They should get an award for like shortest and most succinct acceptance speeches.
Right. Yeah, we were both pretty short. I didn't know what to say, and of course now, you know, we all see so many award shows and we hear all these long acceptance speeches that people give now to everybody, and that just wasn't in anybody's. That just wasn't what was done at the time. I don't think anybody really went on too long. So I didn't know what to say. I said, thank you very much. And then Rita said something like, oh, I'm so excited, or something like that. We were both pretty short in our acceptance things.
I just recently watched the acceptance speech, and it was, both of them were kind of like, thank you, I don't know what else to say, goodbye. Well-deserved awards, too, I have to say. Talk a little bit about Jerome Robbins as a choreographer and the kind of dance he created for you guys dancing on the streets, which is it was very athletic, a lot of it.
Well, yeah, it was. He was, you know, to use the word genius, it's not a word you want to use lightly, but it absolutely applies to this man. The work that he did in the ballet world, and the theater world, and in this movie are exceptional. So it wasn't just working on the streets. Of course, that was one thing. But Jerry created a movement for characters, for whoever the character was. He created a movement for a character. That wasn't, and also a movement that moved the story forward. In the I say old musicals because I was in the chorus of some of them and I had such a great time. But the usual form of a movie musical was that, you know, pretty much a scene would happen and then they would stop and do a musical number of some kind, a wonderful number. And then after the number was over, the story would pick up where it had left off before the number. But that was not the case in West Side. All the musical numbers, whether they're sung or danced, the scene continues through movement and through song. The story never stops to make way for a musical number, and that's the beauty of what Jerome Robbins did here. Is it really is seamless, and so in all the musical numbers, you know what's happening, what's the characters are feeling, what the story is about, there.
Well, and that's something I suggest you watch for, too, when you're watching the film, in case you haven't seen it recently or at all, is do watch how it flows from the dialogue into the song, into the dance, and back out again, and it's really beautiful. By the way, just out of curiosity, how many of you have never seen West Side Story? Oh. Wow. Hey. How many of you have never seen West Side Story on a big screen?
Oh.
Wow. Oh, you guys are in for a treat.
Well, you know what, the beautiful thing about any musical film and seeing it on a big screen, the difference is you're going to be astonished at how wonderful it is to see it on a big screen, because that's the way it was meant to be seen. I always think, do you know who George Chakiris is? Beautiful, beautiful. Can you imagine seeing her on a little screen and then seeing her, I mean, come on. It's such a huge, beautiful difference seeing movement the way it was meant to be seen on a big screen and not seeing somebody this big, you know? Yeah.
West Side Story has remained popular for more than 50 years now. Yeah. What do you attribute as some of the reasons why it has that longevity?
Well, start with, I think, of the gentleman who created this piece, collaborated together in the theater first, Jerome Robbins, Leonard Bernstein, Stephen Sondheim, and Arthur Lawrence wrote the original book. That's an amazing collaboration of four extraordinary guys. And in the movie, you had the addition of Ernest Lehman, who did the adaptation for the screen. Beautiful, beautiful work that he did, and then, of course, the direction, co-direction of Robert Wise. So it starts with really the people who are putting it on to begin with. But I think the thing that sticks, you know, I haven't seen this movie a lot of times, but every time I do, I'm always moved by it. It's like I haven't seen it before. I'm really touched and moved by what's going on with the characters that I see on the screen. I'm really involved in what they care about, and I think you can't see this movie and not feel something. I guess the main thing that, one of the main things is prejudice. That is one of the themes of this movie, and two young people who so much love each other, but the world around them doesn't let them have it. There's a wonderful line, it's a very short line that Natalie has to Richard Beamer, and she says, "It's not us, it's everything around us." Doesn't that ring a bell? I mean, for all of us, I mean, you know, whatever we're doing, there's a lot that's going on around us that changes and makes a difference in our lives and what we perceive. But so I just think again, just to narrow it down to just prejudice, unfortunately, prejudice is alive and well, and I think always will be. So that's one thing that we can all recognize and sympathize with, because we always, even if we don't pay attention to it, we know it's there. You know, so that's just one reason.
Well, and we were talking about the song America, and I think a lot of people remember vividly the dance and how vibrant the music is. Yeah. But I urge everyone to listen really carefully to the lyrics again, because they're really strong, and they... Well,
they are. You know, and let's see. I'm trying to remember some of the lyrics. I like to be an American. Everything free for a small fee in America. I mean, they get a little darker than that. But it's all said in fun between the guys and the girls. But there is substance to the lyrics of Stephen Sondheim's beautiful lyrics for that and every other song as well. So there's some of them get too strong. I don't want to make an issue about them, but
they're very smart.
They work.
They're very good. Yeah. So you have also just been cast in the Old Globe production here, In Your Arms. So you are going to be able to see him dance on stage very soon. But you have not danced on stage for a while, so talk about taking this on.
Oh, well, first of all, I'm nervous. You know, I haven't danced for a while. But the character that the piece that I'm involved in, there are 10 pieces in this evening written by really wonderful, wonderful writers. David Henry Hwang, Carrie Fisher, and Terence McNally, who's written the piece that I'll be partnering Donna McKechnie, okay? How about that? She's so fantastic. And anyway, I'm a little nervous, but in this piece that Donna and I are doing, we both play older people. So, like my age in real life, you know. So I don't know what you know. I have to wear a gray wig and stuff like that. So, but I'm thrilled to be. I've known Donna for a long time, and the only time I got to work with her was we did a benefit together. I had a great time with her, and of course I admired her performance in a chorus line. I did a company with Elaine Stritch and with Donna, and she did an incredible number in that called the TikTok number, staged by Michael Bennett, who also did chorus line. So I'm going on and on, but there are three really good reasons to do this, and I hope that I don't let anybody down, is Christopher Gattelli. He's the director choreographer, and he is one of the best people around at this right now, and he probably will be for a long time to come. He's the choreographer for the current production of An American in Paris playing in New York. I saw that on the Tonys, and I was so impressed with his work, just seeing it on the Tonys. But so Christopher Gattelli, Terrence McNally is a giant in theater and in film. And then Donna, I mean, I think I would have been stupid to not be here, and then I just hope I'll be okay. I hope I can move.
So you actually start rehearsals tomorrow, but have no idea exactly what you're going to be doing?
No, not yet. The piece, it's 3 pages. It's a story written by Terrence McNally, and I'm in the challenge to take 3 pages that will be maybe, I don't know how long it'll actually be, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15, I really don't know. But for Christopher Gattelli to actually put that on its feet, I think it's just an extraordinary challenge. But I have no idea what it's going to be like, and our rehearsal starts tomorrow, so I'll find out, you know. Yeah.
But you've been dancing the majority of your life, so talk about what got you involved in dancing in the first place.
Oh God, as a kid, you know, where I grew up, I always keep going back to when I was 6 years old for some reason. But there was no theater. I never knew theater existed until I was probably about 20 or something. But I certainly knew movies, and I loved. I mean, to me, that was such a dream world, just as an audience member. And I loved all movies, but I especially loved movie musicals, because I would love to go by myself, and after it was over, I'd be trying to remember the songs that I'd heard and so on, and that whatever movie I saw would stay with me in my imagination till the next one. So just that world, a magical, beautiful world of movie musicals. It really is kind of magic, actually. It's so wonderful. But and I have a sister who's just a couple years older than me. She and I were the two in our family. There are 7 kids altogether, but she and I were the two who really loved dancing. We used to dance with each other in the living room, and so I've been in love with dancing for a long time, and I'm so glad that I got a chance to study dancing and work as a dancer, because it's such a beautiful way, means of expression. I mean, you're just using all of you, well, depending on what you're asked to do. It's an extraordinary world, and what it takes. For example, when I think of dancing, I always think of the ballet world. That's what I studied to begin with, and thank God that I did. But I love the ballet world, and I really, I mean, what it takes for a guy or a girl to achieve what they have to achieve to be on stage in a ballet company. The girls I mean, the work is endless and extraordinary, and it requires such a commitment, but boy, is it worth it, you know. But I have such admiration for dancers, I really do. Yeah.
All right. Well, you mentioned the magic of movie musicals. You are all about to experience the magic of West Side Story. Some of you, excitingly, for the first time. So I want to thank George very much for coming out here and talking with us. Let's give him a big
my
round.
pleasure. Thanks. So I guess.
And I just want to remind everyone that In Your Arms is a world premiere, and it will be opening September 16th, directed and choreographed by Chris Gattelli and composed by Stephen Flaherty. So remember, you'll be able to see George again dancing, and tonight we have West Side Story. Thank you all very much for coming out here.
Thanks so much.